Hey everyone, welcome to my video. Today I will be talking about how can you build your own custom source connector without any coding experience. So I'm sure you will be confused how can we build connector without any coding unless you have heard about Airbyte. So before jumping into building connector, let's quickly chat about what is Airbyte. Airbyte is an open source platform that simplifies data integration, helping your application communicate effectively. One of the standout features of Airbyte lies in its ability to simplify the often complex process of data integration. Airbyte has hundreds of destinations to sync your source, and best part of Airbyte is building your own custom source connector is not hell of the task. You can do that without coding. In this tutorial, I am going to walk you through the process of crafting a source in Airbyte. I will showcase how simple it is and how painless it can be. By the time you are done watching, you will have a clear understanding of how to harness the full potential of Airbyte for all your data integration needs. And you will also understand that building connector is not that complicated nowadays. So let's start with the video. So we will start with setting Airbyte and then we will go through each step one by one. Let's start with setting Airbyte on local system. So first of all, download Docker Desktop. So open Google Chrome, type Docker Desktop download, open first link. So it is available for Apple, Windows and Linux. I will be downloading for Apple chip. You can download for your own system. So once your Docker Desktop is downloaded, installed it. So I have already downloaded it. So just open a Docker Desktop app on your system. So this will start your Docker engine. So my Docker engine is started. Now we will be cloning Airbyte repo. So open terminal and just type git clone and this command. Okay, so every command I will be using, I will provide all commands in description box. You can download that from there. It may take some time. Once your repo is cloned, we will move on to running platform. So once you are in Airbyte repo, to run platform use command .run abplatform.sh. So it will take time for first time because it will download bunch of files. Once you see Airbyte banner like this, that means your Airbyte server is up and running. You can go to this URL and paste it in on your browser. So for first time it will ask for username and password. Username is Airbyte and password is password. And you can see bunch of sources here. Now we will be making our own source in Airbyte. So let's move on to next step. Airbyte offers a code generator that sets up the basic framework for your connector. So you can jump on to building connector without worrying about different file structures. So use command cd Airbyte integration, this one, click enter. You will see bunch of options here. Select configuration based source. Give your source a name. Now open Airbyte repo on your code editor. You will see bunch of source. Or is this one? Okay. You can see bunch of files are generated by Airbyte. I will go through each one of file one by one. Let's start with manifest.yml. Before everything, we will install dependencies. So use Python version greater than 3.9 or you can use version 3.9. Create a virtual environment. Activate that environment. This command will install all the dependencies. Now see all dependencies are installed. Now open your manifest.yml file. Now question arises, what we will do in manifest.yml file. So in this file we will define how we will retrieve data, read data, connect to API, authentication processes, what input is needed from user, streams and different components of streams. So move on to this specs object. Here you will define a specification of your connector. What input you want from user. I need API key as a input. So I will define it as a required property. Now we will define properties of API key. It is of type string. Description. This user will see on their UI API token from recently, and I have provided the link of doc. How can they get their API token? As it is something secret, so I am putting Airbyte secret as a true. Anything you need as a optional, define them only in properties. So adding another property, start date. It is of type string. Define description. Adding examples so that user can see this example and give input according to that. You can also define default value and pattern. So patterns are basically Airbyte will match the pattern with given value, and if it is matched, it will take that as an input. So I don't need a start date as a input, so I will remove this. Once you are done with spec object, add your configuration in secret/config.json. I am adding my API key here. So whatever configuration you want, add them here so we can test the connector in between. And don't worry about pushing this to Git because the folder is in git ignore file. Now if you go level up, you will see base URL. Add your base URL here. And for the part of authentication, Airbyte provide you with a bunch of authentication processes like basic HTTP authenticator, API key authenticator, OAuth authentication. So according to documentation, mine is API key authenticator. Oh, I have to also define a header, which is authorization. Now if you go to streams, add your stream here. Mine is campaign. Change name to campaigns. And primary key is ID. Now path is campaign. So whenever this stream is called, this path will be added to base URL and then the data will be fetched. Now go to check, adding campaign here. So what this will basically do, whenever user will try to set up the source, it will try to connect to the campaign stream. And if it is able to retrieve the data from the stream, that means the configuration is right. Now open the file, configured catalog. This file shows what data is available. Here we will define all streams and sync modes. So add campaign stream here. Okay, for now I am using only full refresh as my sync mode. Go to terminal, type command python main.py and this one. So this will check the connection between API. See, the check connection is succeed. That means I am able to connect to API and I am able to fetch the data. That means our first stream is successfully set up. Now let's move on to next step. Now let's read data from campaign stream. So use command python this one. So as you can see, we have read one record from campaign stream, and which is this. Selector is used to define how record will be selected from data. So like in this example, I only want campaigns to be fetched, not like code and messages. So I will go to my selector. Inside extractor in field path, I will be defining campaign. So this will basically only fetch the data inside the campaign. So let's save it. So see, it fetched data only inside the campaigns. It has ignored code and messages. Let me show you one more example. So you can see here, there is data, inside there is records. So I want one record of ID 0 and one record of ID 1. So what I can do, I can go to extractor, there I can define data. So that will select data and create one record for ID 0 and one record for ID 1, and it will ignore this metadata. And let me show you another example. Here you can see there is data, inside that there is record, and inside that there is data we want to select. So what basically I will do, I will go to extractor, inside field path, I will add data, comma, I will add records. So it will fetch this list and select this record, one of ID 1 and one of ID 2. Basically this is selector, and you can use this in different ways. I will be linking a documentation for selector in description box, so you can check out that for more references. So let's move on to next step. Our next step is adding pagination. So Airbyte provides us with a default paginator. Here you will get three options. One is page size option. Here you will define the page size of the outgoing HTTP request. Second is pagination strategy. Here you will specify how to compute the next page to fetch. That means which next page to fetch. Next is page token option. Here you will specify how you will be fetching next page from the HTTP request. In page increment strategy, if the records are less than the page size, that means there is no pages to be fetched. If it is equals to page size, then there is more pages needed to be fetched. Then it will increment the page and move on to next step until there are record less than the page size. So in this way the page increment strategy works. So in my case, I will be using page increment as my pagination strategy, and my page size is 20, and according to the documentation, start the first page is 1. So the default first page is 0. In my case, it is 1. Okay, and I have to inject the page parameter in request parameter, and the field name is page. So you can do your own pagination. I will be also linking the documentation for pagination, where you can check out more pagination strategy according to your API. Now we will be adding another stream named companies. Give name to stream, define primary key, define path, add stream in streams. Now we have a different selector for companies stream. So in companies stream, there is data object. Inside data object there is company object, and I want the record from that company's object, as I have shown you earlier. So I will be creating new selector for that. So this will be my selector for the companies stream. Now defining this selector in companies stream. So as you can see, I have created a new stream named companies. Now I am doing some changes, changing selector to selector data and selector companies to selector, and adding no pagination in campaign stream, because this stream does not have any pagination. Now I am defining new parameter, path extractor. So parameters can be passed down from a parent component to its subcomponent using the parameter key. So this can be used to avoid repetition. So let me show how can we do that. Now I am defining a parameter path extractor. in each stream. I will use this parameter in selector. In this way, I will not create a different selector for each stream. I can define this variable in stream and I will use them in selector. So you can see I am reducing the repetition in code. In this way, you can use a parameter on your own code also. Now I will be adding more streams. So I have already written a YML file for them. I am just copy pasting. So you can see I have defined a path extractor in each stream, and I have created outbox stream, and you can see here I have override the pagination. So whatever you will define in a stream, it will override the base stream. And you can see there is no pagination in campaign stream. So I have added 8 streams in this code. Now modify your configured catalog. I have added 8 streams in my connector. Let Airbyte know about all the streams. You can see this is my configured catalog. Let's read data now. Okay, so you can see run is successful, and template stream, companies stream, outbox stream. You can see data here. Everything is working fine. 0 record from feedback stream, 1 record from MPS stream, customer stream, and everything works fine. Congratulations guys, you have successfully created your own source connector. Now you can sync this connector with a destination available in Airbyte. So just start with building the image. Then start Airbyte. Go to Airbyte root directory. In terminal, click Docker Compose up. Once you see this Airbyte banner, go to your URL and go to settings, sources, new source. Give your connector a name. Docker repository name, which you can find here. This is your Docker repository name. And image tag is dev or whatever you have given. Set up the source. Search your source. Mine is recently. Now you can sync the source with multiple destinations available in Airbyte. Now we are done with building our connector. But to ensure that our connector works as we wanted, we have to run some tests. So first of all, modify some file. Modify a sample config file, your invalid config file. Don't touch sample state file as we have not added incremental sync. If you have added an incremental sync, paste your state here. Then go to your metadata file. Here give your release date. You can keep it true. Now we have to add a icon. So your icon should be in .svg file. I am copy pasting it. Okay, so now we will modifying our acceptance test file. So we are not implementing incremental sync. So I will remove this. I will also remove this. So you can modify this file according to your requirement. I will be linking a documentation for that. You can check out that. Then adding docs are important so that any user can use your connector easily. So go to docs, integration, sources, create a file with your connector name. I have already did. So you can check out all this documentation to create your own documentation. It will be not a tough task. You can do that. Now you can run test. To run tests on Docker, you can use command /acceptance test, this one. You can also run tests directly using Python. You can use this command. Once your all tests are passing, that means your connector is working fine. You can start using this connector. Congratulations, my friend, you have successfully built your own custom source connector in Airbyte. So as I have told you, you have built your connector without any coding experience. There is so many more things you can do with Airbyte low code CDK. I can't tell everything in one video. So I will be linking a documentation for everything else. So I will be linking some more connectors. You can check out that connector also. If you have any doubt, you can ask them on Airbyte Slack channel. So thanks for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.